Hey guys, Bugsy Nostradamus back with the Morning Express Sports Show. The tournament has begun, the play-in game. Shout out to all my Vermonsters. UVM currently with a lead at the halftime in the first official game of the tournament. But let's get right to the brackets. I'm only going to be able to do one region at a time for the beginning of the tournament because there's so many games. I've chosen the West bracket because I think it's one of the most interesting. First up in the West bracket, we've got the 1 seed Michigan State versus the 16 seed Long Island University. Long Island University 16-2 in the Northeast Conference. I also like their name, the Blackbirds. Now, I haven't seen these guys play. I watched a little tape on this guy, Julian Board. He can play. I think that everybody is in agreement that the Blackbirds will not be able to be the first 16 seed to upset a 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. So I've got Michigan State moving on in the first round there. The second game has number 8, Memphis versus number 9, St. Louis. I'm going to be talking a little about Memphis in the second round, but what you need to know is, I've mentioned it before, their coach, Josh Pastner, can really coach. And these guys are athletic. Tyreek Black is long defensively. Shoeless Joe Jackson and Will Barton provide the offense. The Tigers have the ability to do some damage here. They're up against St. Louis, probably one of the best named teams in the NCAA. The Billikens. Brian Conklin's averaging 14 points a game. I don't think they're going to be able to outdo Memphis's athleticism. I've got Memphis moving to the second round there. Next we've got New Mexico versus Long Beach State. New Mexico has star player Drew Gordon. Now, as a team, they can shoot threes. They've won at 9 of their last 10. Long Beach 49ers, one player who could make a difference is Casper Ware. His team's 15-1 in the Big West. That's when you get into the discussions about how good is a team that is 15-1 in a conference like the Big West. I'm going to have to go with my gut here. Go with the chalk. Take New Mexico. Next up, we've got Louisville versus Davidson. Rick Pitino. Need I say more? We'll talk more about Louisville. Davidson, everybody knows they played well in the tournament in the past. I think they're going to need Steph Curry to come back out of the NBA and play for them against Louisville to really have a chance here. I'm going to put Louisville into the second round as well. You've got the Murray State Racers versus Colorado State. Murray State only lost 1 game all season against Tennessee State. Then you got to ask yourselves, who have they beat? Well, they've beaten Memphis, who I just mentioned. They've beaten St. Mary's. They have this guy, Isaiah Canaan. He can ball. Now, Colorado State has held their own in the Mountain West Conference. They beat UNLV. I don't think they're going to have enough here. I think the Racers race to a first-round victory. I've got Murray State advancing there. Marquette versus BYU. I can talk all day about Marquette's offensive capability. Darius Johnson-Odom, Jay Crowder, they can shoot the rock. I think that BYU can also shoot the rock. This might be a game you take the over in, but BYU, even if they're excited about coming back versus Iona in that play-in game, they huge 20-point comeback. I think they might be a little gassed. I don't think they're going to get it done here. I think Marquette advances. Next up, we've got the Florida Gators, my Florida Gators, versus Virginia. Virginia, one of the best defensive teams in the country, in my opinion. Don't listen to me here. Billy Donovan always has Florida prepared for the tournament, though. You need to take that into consideration. I've got UF advancing. Missouri versus Norfolk State. Norfolk State, the other team named the Spartans. It might be the only time in history that 2 teams at the top and the bottom of a bracket have the same name. Spartans of Michigan State and the Spartans of Norfolk State. A little bit different with regards to ability. I think the clear choice here is Frank Haith coming over from the University of Miami. Makes me want to cry. Coaching Missouri, we'll get into their talent level later, but they advance to the second round. We move back up to the top of the bracket. Michigan State versus Memphis. I'm going to circle this game. Reason being, I'm going to take Michigan State. I'm going to take Draymond Green. I'm going to take Tom Izzo. But I'm going to re-mention Shoeless Joe Jackson. I'm going to re-mention Tyreek Black. I'm going to re-mention Josh Pastner because this could be an upset game. If you're feeling a little freaky, a little froggy, Take the Tigers in the second round there to upset the 1 seed. New Mexico, Louisville, I think this is where conferences come into play. I think Louisville having to play harder teams all season. I think Kyle Kurick's going to hit some good shots. I think some big shots. And I think Louisville advances versus New Mexico. The Murray State Racers versus Marquette Golden Eagles. Here we go. Murray State, this is again that mid-major situation. They lost 1 game all season. But how good are they? We're going to find out. I don't think they're good enough to beat the Golden Eagles. I have Marquette advancing here. Next we have UF versus Missouri. Hard for me to say, but I got to take Missouri. These guys, you're going to see where I have them. I have them in the championship, or in the Final Four, which means they'll be the champions of the Western bracket. I think that even though I want to take Florida's lost 4 out of their last 5, 2 of which were to Kentucky. If Eric Murphy gets hot, if Kenny Boynton plays well, they could keep it close. But at the end of the day, you've got Ricardo Ratliff, you've got the Presley brothers, you've got Marcus Desmond, Missouri, 22-point favorites in the first game. They'll probably be 8-point favorites against whoever they play in the second round. I have Missouri advancing there. Back up. Michigan State versus Louisville. This is Tom Izzo versus Rick Pitino. Probably one of the best coaching matchups we'll have in the whole tournament. I can't really decide in this game. I think it's going to be a great game. Make your own decision on this one. My mom went to Michigan State, so I'm going to take the Spartans here. Back down to the bottom bracket. Marquette, Missouri. I'm going to put a check mark next to this game. Because if I'm correct and it gets to this game, this is an over all day. I don't care if they set it at 155 points. The score of this game will be in the 90s, in my opinion. I think Missouri's offense outdoes it. Marquette in the long run. Missouri advances. You've got the 1 seed versus the 2 seed. Michigan State versus Missouri. A lot of chalk in this first bracket, aside from the recommendation that Memphis might advance against Michigan State. That all being said, I think in this case, we're not going chalk. This is where the 1 seed finally falls. Missouri advances, wins the West, and secures their place in the Final Four. Stay tuned for more vlogs as you were, as I was. And we'll have the other regions before the official tournament, minus the play-in games, start. That's all for this vlog. Bugsy Nostradamus, Morning Express Sports Show. Enjoy the South Florida game tonight.